Good morning. It is Sunday, January 17th. I'm in the shop. There's the supervisor. Buddy's chilling on his bed. He just had his bones. So, update. Those of you on Instagram already know. Let's see, 4 days ago, January 13th, I finally got my truck back. So we'll step outside here. So they only had it from, December 28th through January 13th to put a new transmission in it. Originally they told me it was some sensor on the torque converter. Then apparently when they dropped the pan on the transmission, they found some metal shavings. Turned into a shit show in plain English. Took them forever. Of course, when you order a new transmission and you forget to order the seals, that just takes that much longer. But when I got the truck back, oh my god, the seat was like back to where it was adjusted for somebody who was 8 feet tall and weighed 500 pounds. Rear view mirror was all screwed up. Radio station was on some shit station. Side mirrors here, they had these all adjusted wacky. Oh yeah, here on the, I gotta put my new insurance card in the glove box, but anyways, here on the passenger seat laid a plastic spoon like you get when you get your takeout. And I'm not talking still in a wrapper, I'm talking like a used plastic spoon. Yeah, it was great. Absolutely ridiculous. So, needless to say, I won't be doing business with them anymore. But, so I wanted to give everybody an update on that. Now, another thing I wanted to discuss. How many people, well, those of you that are farmers, because I'm sure non-farmers probably don't read too many farm magazines, but I think it was Successful Farming. Yeah, I think pretty sure it was Successful Farming. I read yesterday. It came in the mail. I mean, it's basically Obama 2.0. If you noticed, Biden. That sounds about right, though. Biden has put Vilsack back up for Ag Secretary, like Obama had. And I'm reading in that article, it was mind-blowing. The green bullshit that we want to do in this country. They want agriculture to be zero emissions. Imagine that, zero emissions. What do you think about that, buddy? Do you think zero emissions is bullshit in agriculture? Buddy says thumbs up, if he had thumbs. Are we going to have electric tractors? Is this going to be electric? We're going to have electric combines? All right, if you go back to the summer to my video, the name of it was You Can't Beat Big Brother. Go back to that video. And some of you will remember that have been following me. That was the video where I rent some land from a 95-year-old woman who has a 12-acre parcel that is literally on the edge of a lake called Otter Lake here. And some of it slopes to the lake. It's been in CRP for years. It's shit ground in plain English, which CRP, the purpose of it is supposed to be to take marginal ground out of production. Anyways, in that video, you'll see where I appealed it, and I had to do this hearing right here. I did it in the shop. I had all my paperwork sitting on the back of the gator, and I sat in the chair for 2.5 hours because of COVID, And we had to do it in front of what they called an administrative judge, and then this woman who had 30 years of experience with the USDA. 30 years, that's key because she kept saying that. And basically, we lost. But then we appealed it to NAD, the National Appeals Division, who, I don't know when it was, a couple weeks ago or so, sent an email basically saying it needs to be looked at again because They kind of ripped into this administrative judge and this woman with 30 years of experience, because this person from NAD, the National Appeals Division, mentioned that, how she kept throwing that out there, that 30 years of experience. But yet one of the things they shot me down for, because basically I had to play lawyer. Well, let's imagine that, me as a lawyer. I had to bite my tongue numerous times. They kept accusing me of, or telling me I had to provide some paperwork. And the woman kept saying that, well, if you sign the contract that the FSA office gave you, those of you non-farmers, that's Farm Service Agency, then you signed it illegally without, reading everything and knowing, and that's against the law. Well, at that point, I was like, look, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get this 95-year-old woman in trouble, so let's just forget it then. Well, it turns out all this paperwork that I was supposedly, supposed to come up with ahead of time, no. The National Appeals Division said that was their responsibility to give me all of that before they ever put a contract in front of me to sign. They were supposed to explain everything before they put a contract in front of me to sign. So we'll see how that turns out. But here's one thing that woman kept saying. Well, the government wants to take more land out of CRP and put it back into production. Okay, well, here was my bitch. So you always accuse us farmers, well, your overproduction is what causes the low prices that you guys get, so quit your bitching, if you didn't overproduce. But you're going to put more marginal ground back into production? Made no sense. But now we're going to go completely the other way, because if you had read that Successful Farming magazine, Biden wants to go from 25 million acres into CRP to putting 50 million acres into CRP, which means there's going to be a hell of a lot more than just marginal ground put into CRP. I don't get it. I mean, this morning there was a letter to the editor in our local rag that you hear me bitch about on this channel, and during Jimmy and the neighbor and my live streams, our wonderful local rag. This guy writes a letter. He's the head of I think they call him president of the Green Party here in New York State. And some of the stuff he was spewing, I mean, Biden needs to do all these executive orders on day one and all this. Whatever happened to the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? I mean, do we have climate issues in this country? Well, stop and think about this. Take a room. I don't care, 20 by 20 room. Put 100 people in it. Wait an hour, take the temperature, see what it is. Now add 100 more people into that room. Wait an hour and take the temperature. I'll guarantee the temperature is going to be higher that second hour after you put the extra 100 people in there. So as the world population continues to grow, more and more of this right here, concrete and pavement out there in the road, continue to get put in, and buildings. That means more and more green ground, agriculture land gets taken out of production because it's being used to, make roads, buildings, houses, whatever. So the sunlight's bouncing off of that stuff and creating the atmosphere to be warmer as opposed to soaking into the ground. I mean, it's common sense. It's not, the polar bears are dying and all this bullshit that they keep pushing on us. And in this guy's letter, this president of New York Green Party, he puts in there, and it just pisses me off to no end, as you all know, how they got to push race on everything. He puts in his letter that we know that carbon emissions, is affecting people of color more than it is white people. What? Is that kind of like COVID? When you go into the restaurant and sit down, it leaves you alone because it knows, but when you stand up, then it comes and gets you? So somehow carbon is weaving its way through people and affecting, people of color more than, come on. It's so stupid. But, all right, so that's the update on my truck and my rant for the day. This is just going to be a short video, but I'll finish it with this. We here in New York, and I don't know what it's like in other states. Let me see if I can get it out of my wallet without dropping the camera here. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right, here is, oh, that's my, I'm gonna go one more. Oh wait, are they all, okay, they're all there. Here's my New York State driver's license. Here's my New York State concealed carry pistol permit. Here's my New York State pesticide applicator license. Basically, they're all, you know, just like a regular driver's license. We have to have that in order to buy spray materials and spray our crops here in New York. In order to keep that, we have to go to, which there was none this past year because of COVID, but we have to go to different courses. We have to accumulate so many points every 6 years for renewal of that license. If you don't renew it, you lose it. You have to go through the test, get it all over again, whatever. Here, 2-3 years ago, I was at a meeting, probably 100 farmers there, to get points towards this renewal. And there was a DEC officer there. DEC here in New York is Department of Environmental Conservation. Don't know what they call it where you are. He gave this spiel about carbon credits, which is another, you know, big Biden thing that he's talking about. And what it was basically Company A is a great company, you know, they aren't polluters and all this. Well, Company B is a horrible company and they pollute, you know, carbon emissions, it's terrible and all this. So what we're going to do is Company B is going to be penalized by having to buy carbon credits from Company A, which is a, you know, reward for Company A for being clean, and the world will be fine. Oh, okay, so we're punishing the one and, you know, applauding the other, basically rewarding them. So then he says, any questions? Yep, you know me, I don't give a shit. I raise my hand. And I think my exact words to the guy were, well, what in the hell does that exactly do for the amount of carbon emissions that are still going into the air? And the place kind of erupted laughing, you know. And the guy didn't know what to say. He didn't know, you know, because it does nothing. All you're doing is the guy who's a so-called polluter, it's cheaper for him to buy carbon credits from the guy who's, you know, not polluting than it is to probably redo their whole business or whatever. But the end result is the same amount of carbon emissions as, you know, going into the atmosphere. So it's this. It's what the Democratic Party thinks about. And it scares me as to, with all this bullshit that Biden wants to do to agriculture, you know, we're finally seeing good grain prices because, you know, Trump brought China into line, also because of the drought in South America right now. But scares me where we're going in this country. But all right, well, hopefully my next video, well, my next one might be a live with Jimmy. We'll let you know. The next one might be the tractor showing up. I don't know. As you saw when I went outside, it's kind of shitty weather right now. But oh, by the way, as you noticed, we have, you know, very little snow on the ground. I mean, our local weatherman said last night for this time of year, we are 44 inches below normal for snowfall. It's crazy. But, all right, if you haven't subscribed, do so. Appreciate it. Thumbs up, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one.